Can you see me now? Can you hear me now? Oh. Anybody see anything different?
All right, now, girlfriend. That's right.
I see Miss Linda Peterson in there. Ain't much meat on that ham. Uh-oh, I did something boo-boo.
All right, now, girlfriend. That's right.
I see Miss Linda Peterson in there. Oops.
I forgot to ask him if he had it turned off, y'all.
I see Sampy has been in there. Abbott's been in there. I see Air Run has been in there. Air Run, if you still in there, Charlotte said to say hello back.
I think it's just me and Linda in here right now.
That's all right. They'll be in here shortly. What do you mean ain't much meat on that ham? There's a lot of fat on it. And Linda, I ain't got to worry about nothing settling on my hips. You know, unless, of course, you just want to go there. All right.
All right. Just go on, go. Oh, man. You doing okay this evening, Miss Linda?
Oh, where? Oh, where? Oh, there she is. Fat on it. Yeah, there's some fat on it.
Fat is flavor.
There'd be a whole lot of flavor. Just saying.
Yep.
I wonder if I need to turn that light on.
Well, you normally have it on, I think. It's shining on the glasses. Yeah, that works.
That's about the same either way, ain't it?
Yeah. We are going to be in Avid's live at 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good, Miss Linda. I'm tired. All them cookies, they got me tired.
Sampy.
There is Sampy.
Yeah, you still got one more to go, don't you?
Yeah, I got the no-bake cookies go. I haven't done them today because it's been wet and rainy. And they don't set up when it's wet and rainy.
Well, we've got everything else cleaned up from everything else we've done. She cooked some beans last night, and she's going to save them for today, but she just had to have her some last night.
I ate 2 bowls of them beans last night at midnight. They were good.
I had to admit the smell of them were driving me kind of nuts. I ain't had none yet, but I know they is now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this week, here in about, what was that, 2.5 hours, we'll be in Abbott's.
Something like that, yeah. There's
Ginger!
Hi, Ginger. Yeah, I got ham and them beans too, Miss Linda. I found some on sale. They've already cut up for it.
Well, Linda, they sure are, but might make it hard on Evan when he gets to having to deal with them chitlins.
All right, now. I told you, get down.
Oh, I thought you'd talk to me because I said chitlins.
No. She is determined she's going to be up here by me.
All right.
So how's everybody's Sunday night so far?
I slept.
Yeah, Ginger, we slept. I mean, we heard the thunder and saw some lightning. That's about it.
I sleep good in the storms.
Yeah. I mean, I was up and down running to the restroom, but
I sleep in the storms like Jesus did in the boat when that big bad storm was going on. I sleep good.
Yeah.
I don't worry about it. Hey, it's my time. It's my time. Ain't nothing I can do about it no how. I might as well sleep. God's got me.
I kept trying to find information on what was going on, and nobody put no information out on it. I mean, all I could find was what had already happened in Clarksville and Nashville.
They all too worried about things going on over yonder that I ain't gonna go into, but they ain't worried about us over here no more.
Did y'all make it through the storms all right, Miss Ginger? Yeah, Miss Linda, we're doing all right down here.
But when she asked that question, I have my doubts as to whether or not she slept good.
That's something I learned today when I was a kid. I guess I was about 4 or 5, and there was tornado warnings coming through. And we lived in Paint Rock, and it was raining real heavy and it was thundering and lightning. My grandmother would just tell me, she said, lay down on the couch, go to sleep. When you get up, it'll all be over. I said, you sure?
Ginger, tell you something on that. When you're the master and all that is around you is made up from the energy of your love, how easy would that be for him to do? Because he could command it.
Said sleepless night. We'll be in bed early tonight. We will probably be in bed after we get off Abbott's Live. We're going to be guests on there.
That'd be something to help you with the storms, Ginger. There's nothing you can do about it. Your trust is in God. Something happens, you going home anyhow. You know, we tarry on this earth until he comes. Whether we grow old and die until that time comes, or we get caught up in the rapture, we tarry until he comes. Yeah, we make plans to do things we want to do and do it how we want to do it. But that's just to occupy our time while we are here and doing what we're supposed to be doing.
It'll be 8 o'clock our time tonight on Avid Fisherman.
Now, while we are doing all that, we are anticipating expectation of his return, of his coming to get us. Now, his return comes later, but coming to get his church happens before later. Yeah, so while we tarry, while we occupy ourselves in our lives and all that, we're still waiting on him. But we don't sit there, not doing anything until he comes. We tarry. We carry on with our lives while still having that expectation of his return, his coming to get us. But while we do that, do not get so attached to this world and the things of this world and the worries of this world and the material things of this world that we worry about what's going to happen to that when it's our time. Whether it's by dying and going on or being caught up. As much as there are things I would like to do and would like to accomplish, and I make plans for that, for in the case the day comes that things happen to where we can do things we want to do. At the same time, he calls us home, whether through death or rapture. I ain't gonna be worried about what's gonna happen to any of this. It's like I told Elaine. If I tack out again or whatever, and I'm gone, and I see it's time to go, I said, Sorry, honey, I love you, but I ain't looking back. I know God's got a plan for her too. Christine, GTO.
Hey, Christine. We're traveling
So,
home and listening. Okay.
well, the same thing, like in the storms last night. He's got us. And I'm here to tell you from personal experience that if you die, the sting of death, you don't feel it. It's like walking through a door, like being born into heaven. You don't know nothing except for what you see right before you at that time. I mean, nothing. I mean, I knew I was there. I knew there was angels around me. I was walking around, oh, and walking real slow. And I could feel the unspeakable love, joy, and peace of God all through me in a way I can't describe, folks. When it talks about the unspeakable love, joy, and peace of God, I know why it was described that way, because it can't be described. That's the only way to describe it, as it can't be described. I mean, it's an ecstasy that even ecstasy can't touch as far as a description, because it's all in you, through you, all about you. You know, it's like it's about kind of like being plugged up to the energy source. You come alive, and but death is it's like walking through a door.
Yeah. I've never done it, but he's told me about it enough times.
1 second you're here, the next second you're there. You never knew what happened. The only thing you know is I'm here now. That's it. Like you walk through a door quicker. And you'd be standing on the threshold and walk through, boom. Wow. That's all there is to it. You know, it's kind of like I put it to you this way. Anybody that has ever dispatched chickens, yeah, I used to be the one to dispatch the chickens. I'd get ready for it, sharpen my hatchet up, get my block out there, sharpen that hatchet up, and I'd grab that chicken and get out there. I was socking myself up for it. I'd get out there, I'd grab that chicken and pull that neck across that block and bop. Well, sometimes you didn't get all the way through. There'd be some skin hanging in it, keep the head on there, because didn't quite get it off. And you see that chicken run off around the yard. Now, a lot of people would see that. Dale, how you doing? A lot of people would see that and go, oh my God, that chicken must be in such pain. No, it ain't. All that chicken is doing is the body, the nerves in that body, are carrying out the last instructions that the brain sent to the body. Run! So that's what it does.
Yep.
Well, it's the same way with the human body. A sudden death like that person ain't feeling that pain. The body will react, but the person does not feel that pain. First time it happened to me, I did 2 quick gasps of breath and I was gone. And gone long enough for my body to have grown cold. My heart burst. And no, there was no medical teams around. There was no ambulance called. There was no doctors involved. But when the time was right, God brought me back up and I was fine. Much to the surprise of the one who helped me get that way. One thing God was doing was showing that person who was true to him and who was not. And the reason I know it to be an explosive heart attack is because the xiphoid complex right here used to be flat and everything and dip in a little bit. Now it's a little knot, it kind of sticks up like that. The only way that could have happened was that heart exploded. And that's been left to me as a reminder that did happen. Because somebody said, well, you just dreaming. Yeah. I wished it was only a dream. It wouldn't have hurt so bad when I opened my eyes back up and realized I was back here. I cried like a baby because I was home. And all of a sudden, here I was back. Lord, I got to keep going.
You had to meet me.
Well, that's one of the reasons why the Lord brought me back, kept me here. Mm-hmm. All this right here is why the Lord brought me back, kept me here. And talk about that incident among many.
Hi, Dale.
But when you're trying to sleep in that storm and you're worried about, oh, is this going to be okay? Is that going to be okay? If you put it in God's hands, whatever's to be will be, and it'll be okay. Because there ain't nothing to worry about. Think about the disciples that was in that boat, Ginger. They was all scared to death, and they had the master of the universe and all things literally, physically in the boat with them. And they was afeared. Why? As long as he was there, there wasn't nothing going to happen to them. But yet they were scared. Yet they were feared for their lives. Yes, sir, he did, Dale.
And that's how me and Piggy slept last night.
And that's how we slept last night. That's how this started. Ginger asked how we did last night through the storms. I slept like a baby.
Well, I did until I had to go to bed.
And that's how it is in life with all things. If you put your life and everything there is in your life into God's hands, there ain't nothing to be scared of. Because everything's going to be all right. Yeah, you might get a ripped roof off. You might have some livestock get took out from it. You might even get took out from it. But you know what? My life is God's to do with as he sees fit. So if it crushes this house with me in it during a storm of some sort and I died, I'm going home. What am I worried about? Yeah. Obviously, what I had to do on this earth was complete. Because God showed me through those 3 times of having been dead, that I ain't going nowhere till he's done with me here. Yeah. Whatever happens to me, happens to me. It's just as simple as that. My life is his. I tell folks I am a warrior of and for God. His wish is my command.
Excuse me, thank you.
His command is even more so my command. What he tells me to do, I do.
You want to say?
Because I said so. No, not because I said so, Dale. I'm not sure what you're talking about. God tells us that in his word. I mean, sometimes there are things like Jesus sleeping in the boat during that storm. And then he asked me, why are you scared? Later, I'm here. Why are you scared? Well, if you think about the situation, they was in something that was to be scared of. Okay, Dale. You know, they was in something that was to be scared of. They was on a boat on a big body of water that gets waves like the ocean. Them waves could have wiped them out quick. But they had the master of the universe and heaven, literally and physically, right there in that boat with them, and yet they were still scared. Why? Because they had their mind on this physical world. They had their mind on the material things that they had going on. God knows what comes next. We don't. My purpose could be served at the end of this life, and I'd be required to go home because my job is done. Well, that would leave a lot of plans that I had incomplete here, but they don't matter. Those plans do not matter. But those plans don't matter. What we've got planned and how we've got planned for it to play out don't matter. Those are plans that we make for right now, while we live this life, going through this life for God's purpose, not our own. Aaron!
Hey, Aaron.
I don't know how to do it, Beanie, Aaron. Yeah. So just hold on tight, Aaron, because they've got me on one of my rolls. You know how that goes. Yeah. So why be scared? You know, like I said, the disciples had him with them literally and physically, yet they were scared. We have to rely on our faith. I've got more than faith. I know. I've been there, done that, seen that, felt that. I know everything in that word is true. That's a heck of a thing. That just kind of hit me. You know, because I felt that the first time I was there. Kind of like consciously, I can't grasp it because it's not there, but subconsciously it is. I know it's there. I've been there, done that, felt that, seen that. You know, his word is real and it is true. Every little bit of it. But they were, you know, what not in written in that word, talking about that situation is, you know, they were scared, even though he was right there with them physically. They had their mind on worldly, physical, material things. Yeah, they weren't thinking about, we got the master of the universe right here with us. Anything happens, we're going home, buddy. And that's how I see it. Anything happens, I'm going home. That's where my hope is. That's where my faith is. You know, God's showed me too much. Now, I know the flaws I have. I know how bad I am. You know, I've told God on many occasions, God, I do not understand why you not only accept me, forgive me, but choose to use me as you do on the occasions that you have come up for me to be the vessel for. Yeah, I've told people stuff, come up personally. Ginger, you know what I'm talking about. And told them stuff I couldn't have known. But God did. And God uses me that way, like he does many others. But we ain't all going to be the vessel that speaks to that which God has something in mind for. There's some out there for Dale. There's some out there for Johnny and Christine. There's some out there for Pooch. You know, the list goes on and on. Who I reach, you can't. Who you reach, I can't. Because I was not the vessel meant for that particular job. You know, like Scotty said on Star Trek, how many times have I got to tell you, use the right tool for the right job? Well, that's what God does. He's using the right tool for the right job. We won't know why. We're just a tool. It's what my neurosurgeon told me after my surgery. He come in there and he told me, he said, Mama Bear, how you doing?
That's not what he told him, but hi, Mama Bear, how you doing?
We got talking. He said, I've heard you been moving your toes. Held right foot up, wiggled a few toes for him. He got kind of a little smile on his face, and we got talking about things. And I told him, I said, Doc, I said, I ain't got nothing but my high school education, but I still remember quite a bit of my human anatomy 1 and 2. There ain't no way you can tell me that you didn't save my life. My doctor told me, he said, no. He said, I was just a tool used to clean up a mess. Folks, when he told me that, he was telling me I was beyond his help. God did all the rest of it. So I wasn't supposed to come up off that table and not move neck down if I did.
Definitely wasn't supposed to be walking before you went to rehab.
You know, but here I was already moving my toes. So they knew it just a matter of time I'd be walking. Now, sometimes I have to be careful how I do things. Sometimes I have to do precisely one thing at a time because the nerve damage is in the spinal cord. So it's having to reroute signals. So sometimes, wanting to do a couple of things. Well, if I'm standing up, wanting to do something else at the same time, I better concentrate on standing up first. Or I'm going to be falling off in the floor because it don't have enough circuitry in there to do more than one thing at a time. Kind of like our kitchen, we ain't got but so much electrical. She can only use certain stoves and other things at one time because there ain't enough electricity for all of it.
I'm sitting there using my cooktop with my oven to go off or the whole breaker go off.
We'll flip a breaker on a power strip.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, we ain't blown a fuse yet because we still got a fuse box. No breakers in this house. Not yet. Not yet, Mama Bear. And so I had to be careful. But he told me he was just a tool. That's all we are in the service of God. It's just a tool. We don't know what God's doing. We're just doing what God told us to do. So why be in fear? Why worry over things we can't do nothing about no how? So we trust God to take care of everything. It's all in his plan anyway. It's what he already wrote out in the program, in his word. He already wrote it out. It's already done. For God, it is already done. Molly!
Hey, Molly, welcome in.
Yeah, he authored the book, his word. He done wrote it start to finish. It's just up to the readers to go through it and think on it, meditate on it. And, because I don't care how many degrees you got in theology, if you don't have the Holy Ghost and meditating on that thing, letting the Holy Ghost reveal it to you, you don't know nothing. I don't care how many degrees you got. You could have 1,000,000 times 1,000,000 degrees in theology. Know that thing back and forth, the epistemology about every single word and where every letter of that word, of each word, came from and how it came. You still don't know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Adele, one day you said something about me knowing things. Okay, I just put it this way: if I had delved in deeper to studies and all like that, I could have been one of them out there writing books about it. But then that would have meant me making money off of it. And what I do, I'm not to make no money off of. What I do and say, that's for free because God gave it for free. And he made a huge sacrifice in order to make it free. So who would I be to go?
Hey, Johnny.
Who would I be to go the road of mammon to spread his truth and talk about what he's done for me and for others and things I've seen, things he's taught me, shown me.
I'm sorry for that. Johnny Small Pepper, hi.
Johnny! Small Pepper, that is. Not to confuse him with Johnny at Gillum Farms. But, you know, what would that look like? That'd be like slapping God in the face to make money off of what he has shown me and not to freely spread about, not to freely speak about to others. You know, oh, well, writing them books, you can make a lot of money and bring yourself up out of a bad space. Yeah, I probably could. But then that's not how God meant for me to live. If I'm to do better, God will provide it in his way, in his time. That's just how it is. You know, so why fear anything? He's got control of it all. I mean, there's a molecule in your body that's a protein molecule that acts like a glue to help stick your body together. And everything else in this universe, I might add. But it holds your body together. It's a molecule called lanolin.
Is it lanolin or lamelin?
Or lamelin.
Lamelin.
Anyway, they call it the Jesus molecule. You can look it up. There's a video on YouTube about it. There's one guy talking on it. It's really amazing. Now, the thing about the Jesus molecule, when you look it up and you see it, I need a piece of paper. I want to show y'all something. I want to show y'all something about what the Jesus molecule looks like. Some of you may already know about it, so know what I'm talking about. Don't need much.
I can hear you, Chief.
Jesus molecule. Well, that don't write.
Well,
give me something to write, please. I know. I just got her all hemmed up.
that wrote for me. I ain't gonna say it'll write for you, but it wrote for me.
You look it up. You can verify this on
Yes,
YouTube video.
It is.
But folks, that's what the Jesus molecule looks like. That's the shape that it's in. Think on it. That's the Jesus molecule. That's why they call it the Jesus molecule. It's got the J and it's got the cross. You know, we are literally. All right, Dale, you do that. We'll be there for a little while. We got another line we got to be on after that, so we'll have to cut out of there early, but you go do what you got to do.
Yeah, we're guests on Abbott's tonight.
You know, anyway, that's the Jesus molecule. That's what it looks like. We are literally made up of him. That's why it says that in his word, we own nothing except our free will. You know, and we're going to be worried about a storm while claiming we got our lives in his hands. I know it's hard. It's hard to not worry about the things you got going on and knowing the destructive power of a storm, especially some of the ones that we're going through. But you think about it like this. Whatever happens is in God's will. Whatever happens, God has already ordained to happen. He done wrote it all out. It's like a big old computer program. The heavens and the earth are part of a bigger program. Each of us are just sub-programs that he wrote into it for a reason, because each sub-program has a purpose. We each have a reason and a purpose for being here, and each thing that happens to us in life has a reason and a purpose for it happening, because it helps to refine our program for his purpose. So, a little bit. Yeah, she sure does. So there's nothing to worry about. Worry is a sin, because that means we're not trusting and believing in God to be who God says he is. So, that's why worry is a sin. We do what we got to do each day according to what God has for us to do and according to what we've got in mind for our lives. But when we see that God's got something going on that's everything, we know that takes precedence. Whatever comes from that, comes from that. I accept it. I'll take it, because God knows what he's doing, because he already planned all this out. When he put that last character into the program and hit enter, that meant the program was done. And he hit run. So for him, I've done this before, and I'll tell you again, for God, all of this is already history. That's why he said that the battle is already won. All we got to do is live through it, because we are living history. It's in the future for us, but it is still history to God, because it's already done. From the moment that he put it all in operation, it was already done. All the way up past the rapture, all the way up past the tribulation, all the way up past the battle of Armageddon, all the way up past the 1,000-year reign of Christ here on this earth, all the way up past where all of this, at the end of the 1,000-year reign of Christ on this earth, is taken back up into heaven. It's already done. We're just living history to get up to that point. That's a hard concept. I've gotten used to it. That's what I've been shown. I've gotten used to it. I understand it. It'd be kind of like you going into a virtual reality game of a time 1,000 years ago. There'd be a lot of things you'd know about that game simply because of history, because you know the history of it. And you play that game accordingly, and try to progress through that game and all like that. Same thing. God created a virtual reality, a true virtual reality. We're just like the characters in a virtual reality game. Those characters in that game think everything they see and do is real. And it is, to a point. Everything we see and do is real to us, to a point. But, there are things that we can't know. There are things that we can't see or hear. There are things going on in the spiritual realm, in the heavenlies, that we're not privy to. We're just the players in the game that has a free will of whom we shall serve. You know, we got our faith in him. We ain't got nothing to worry about because he gonna take care of that game. And you know, I'll get into witchcraft stuff in one of my videos here soon. It's been on my mind. We play into stuff that we don't realize is of the enemy. And we say, oh, that's just a game. Yeah, well, you know, predators of a certain type have games of a certain type to get their prey of a certain type. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The youngins, to lure them in. Where do you think man got that idea? He got it from the enemy. He has games to play too, to lure us in. Ouija board, tarot cards, psychics. You know, we don't think nothing of it because we don't want to think nothing of it. We don't want to think beyond what we see. We don't want to think beyond what we hear. You know, but you know, we're fighting against an enemy that if we don't adhere to God's word and do as he has put forth for us to do, we will fall prey to the whims and games of the enemy and justify it saying, oh, it's just a game. Well, the youngins say, well, it's just a game. Same thing there. So, as long as we adhere to what God says and have faith in him, we ain't got to worry about it. You know, and why should we? We've put our lives into the hands of the master of the universe in heaven, the one who controls it all, made it all, knows it all. You know, when he says his ways are higher than our ways and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts, folks, let me tell you something. Intellectually, we're not even an amoeba compared to God. And our brains would not be able to contain even 0.5% of what God knows. It would blow our brains up to have even that much of his knowledge. You know, so we go down into the negative integers of knowledge from what God knows. He gives us a little bit, you know, and he gives us a little bit at a time. You know, some like use Old Testament where it says, you know, God works in mysterious ways. Well, in the New Testament, Jesus said, there are no mysteries, only truths yet to be revealed. So you may know one truth that God has led you to. But folks, let me tell you, there's truths, levels of truths that keep going up and up and up and up and up and up and up higher than that truth you've been let know. The reason he doesn't show you the rest of it is because you would not be able to accept it. So we're only allowed to know that which our hearts and minds are ready to accept. And he's telling me stuff most, if not all of you, wouldn't be ready to accept. That's why I don't really talk about it. You know, something went bad. Charlie! So, you know, now when you get to a point where you're ready to accept another level of truth, that's when God will show you that level of truth. Won't be any different from what you already know. It'll just be a little bit more detailed. You know, because you can only You can only accept what you're able to grasp. So if he puts something on you that you're not ready to grasp yet, it'd be more apt to do damage and cause you to run away than bring you in further. And so we're only allowed to know so much at a time. Now me, I had a let's just say that with me and God had a major fight. Well, we had a couple of them. Guess who lost? The end of one of them is, God and I came to an agreement. He gives me what to say, I speak it. As a warrior of and for God, that's what I do. Having been a Marine, I understand following orders real well. And that's kind of what it is, because we are in a battle. Some of us are warriors in one way or another. And the other one, I point blank told God, I said, Lord, if I burn, I burn.
Hey, Paul, at PSC Odyssey.
But I got to know the truth. Folks, I'm thankful there was a chair behind me because I was standing up. And as soon as I said that, God put a picture together of stuff I already knew in my head. And he put it all together in one picture. It set my butt down in that chair. There was no having lost strength in my knees. My knees, it's like my knees weren't there. I fell down into that chair. That's why I'm thankful for that chair having been there. Of course, then again, I got to figure, God knows and plans all things. So he planned for that chair to be there for me because he knew I was going to need it. So he showed it all to me. And later in years, that and the knowledge of one other thing called me up, standing in the reflection of his shadow, and showed me that I still didn't know jack diddly squat. Even for all that he showed me, I still didn't know nothing. So, Linda, as though not there, not even noodles. But, because we could spend our eternal infinity with God and still not know after 10 million years everything that God knows. I mean, there is no real descriptive of the gap between our intelligence and God's intelligence, because, folks, we ain't even rocks compared to God, which, by the way, are also made of God, as is everything else in this world and this universe. It's all made of God. And that's why he can be everywhere and in one place at one time, because everything is him. I'm going to let y'all try to stretch y'all's brains around that one. That's why he can be everywhere and in one place at one time, because he is everything. People talk about running. You run. So, little girl that we know and love, and my personal lives, made one talking about how nice it is that you can do all this running from God, and all you got to do is run back to him. Well, the thing is, all you got to do is turn around, and he's right there. Because it don't matter how far you run. You could run from one end of the universe to the other end of the universe, and he's still right there because he is the universe. He is the planets. He is the stars. He is the vacuum of space in between celestial bodies. He is everything. You know, it's an awe-inspiring thought. And the more you think on it, the broader it gets. And the more you realize how small we really are in the grand scheme of things. Yet he loved us enough to sacrifice his own son to give us a way back to him so that we might have life everlasting and more abundantly. Folks, some people don't want to believe that. That's fine. That's their free will. That's their choice. That's their life, how they want to live it, however they want to live it. But, the Bible simply states that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord, respect. And the more you know about him, the more you'll come to respect him. Because he is quite literally everything. He's these glasses on my face. He's this hat that I wear, which, by the way, telling y'all, this new hat that Lane bought me. I got a couple of pins on either side. But he's this hat. He's my hair on my head. He's this shirt that I'm wearing. Because it's all made of him. Literally made of him. The only thing we really have is, the only thing we do have is our free will of whom we shall serve. So why are we going to worry about that boat tossing around in the storm? Why are we going to worry about that storm passing through? Either God's going to allow it to take me so I can come home, or he's not. I'm not worried about it either way. I've seen storms pass over this house, and I'm talking about extremely severe storms that a clap of thunder from that particular storm cell, would have been enough to level this house in the way that the block walls in the basement were. One of them still is, but when it got to this hill right behind the house, I've watched it on the radar. It would split, go around this house and this hill, and come back together in my neighbor's pasture over here. Tell me that ain't God looking out. Because he knew that that storm cell would have been enough to crush this house, us in it. But we weren't meant to go in that. Well, he has a name for every celestial body in the universe. Nancy!
Hey, Nancy.
And there are trillions upon trillions of stars in the universe, much less other celestial bodies like moons and planets and asteroids and comets. He has a name for every single one of them. Knowing everything, knowing the entire composition of each of our bodies ain't nothing to him. Because that ain't as much as all those celestial bodies out there. The reason he knows them is because it's all made of him. But he's got a name for every single one. He has a special name for each and every one of us once we get to heaven. You know, and it says in there, you will be known as you were known, but you'll be a different creature. You'll have a different name. And there won't no two names be alike. They're all different. You know, so he has that much control because he made it all. And he made it all out of the energy of his love. So it is all him. You know, to use the Matrix videos as an example. He is the architect. The only difference between him and the architect in the movie, he ain't got no problem resolving a math issue. The architect in the Matrix, he designed everything, including the fake world that the humans were plugged into. Everything. But he had one math problem that he couldn't resolve. Like Neil said, the solution is choice. And God, unlike the architect, he allows you to make that choice. And those who do not choose him, he allows to be trimmed off that grapevine, unplugged. I don't know if that'll make sense to some of y'all, but that's pretty much quite literally what and how it is. We got nothing to worry about, folks. If we serve God, profess God, and know all that, we put our lives into God's hands because we know our lives belong to him anyhow. What we got to worry about? Not a single thing. Is everything going to go according to God's plan, the way he's already got it programmed out anyway? A lot of the things that happen is just refining us, testing us, sometimes whipping our butts. Trust me, I've had a few of those.
Well, I have too.
You know, yeah, she learned hers by praying for patience.
If you don't want patience, don't pray for patience.
That's right. Josie, how are we?
Hi, Josie, welcome in.
I see you. Did you see me? But folks, that's how I sleep, like a log, even in the worst of storms. I ain't worried about it. I'm either gonna wake up here or I'm gonna wake up there. That's all there is to it.
And either way is a win-win situation.
That's it. It's like she was told going through her cancer battle. The lady told her, said, you're in a win-win situation. If you lose the battle, or if you win the battle, you get to stay here and live your life out with me. Folks, God does have a sense of humor, trust me. He allowed her to get through that cancer battle to be with me.
And if I hadn't won the cancer battle, I would have been home with Jesus. Either way.
Win-win. So it's a win-win. It don't matter. Yeah. Lieutenant Dan in the movie Forrest Gump, he way up on that crow's nest. Come on, is that all you got? That was his battle with God when he made peace with God. Well, that's kind of how it is. Once you make peace with God, there ain't nothing here on this earth about you. Because you know that You'll live this life according to however He's got it planned for you. And if that plan involves you dying and going home to be with Him, well, so be it. That is how it will be. Plain and simple. Like I said before, God is simplicity. He has a reason and a purpose for everything. And those things are often a lot more simple than what you think they are. And here's the thing, though. I listen to folks. Oh, can't wait to get there. I'll meet up with my family and I'll be there with my loved ones and my wife and all like that. Well, number one, marriage is only for us while we're here on this earth. That's why it says until death do us part. When you get to heaven, you ain't going to be married. There ain't no need for marriage. Your family is the family of God. That's one of the reasons why we got so many family on YouTube, because it's a heart thing and not a blood thing. And it's kind of like that with God. When you give your heart to God, you become a part of that family, God's family, the heavenly family. So everybody be family. And you'll be known as you were known. But now here's the thing. You know, He tells us, if you're faithful over a little,
Hey, Carrie, welcome in.
He'll make you a ruler over many things. Well, think about that. Folks, God's got stuff for us to do when we get there. It ain't going to be just floating around on clouds, strumming a harp. Oh, now we'll be in bliss. Don't get me wrong, but we will still have a purpose to serve when we get there. And I have some speculations on some of those things. But, you know, sci-fi dreams about futuristic, perfect societies and all this going on, and everybody's got a place, everybody's got a job, everybody got something to do. Well, you won't find it here in the physical, but it will be waiting for you there in the spiritual, the true reality, because it is a society. There is a hierarchy. There is a chain of command, a command structure. You know, where you think man got his ideas for such from. God put it in place. You know, so yeah, that society that man looks for is going to be there. Just you got to meet the requirements, and the requirements are you recognize that God is God. He sacrificed His Son so that we could cross that bridge. So there ain't nothing to worry about. Life is going to be what life is going to be, and if you put your life in God's hands, rock on with it. Whatever comes, comes. That's why I say I'm gonna have a great day every day, even on my worst day, because I got to live through it anyhow. So might as well smile.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever comes, comes. If something bad happens, well, that happened. What I got to do now to fix that, or get around that, or repair that, or whatever it is that we got to do. Well, welcome back, Christine Chiquillo.
I understand what it is to lose service while driving.
And Christine, if you want see what it was you missed, you know you always got replay. You segment out that portion that you missed, and you can do replay. But yeah, folks, it's already all planned out. Whatever happens, happens. It's going to be what it's going to be. And if you put your life in God's hands, you ain't got nothing to worry about. He's in the boat with you. As long as He's in the boat with you, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Ain't nothing going to happen that ain't meant to happen. Plain and simple. It's not that hard. We tend to make things harder than what they really are because, as I've said before, man likes to complicate things and try to look for the complicated answer when the answer is just so simple. And it being so simple, why a lot of times we can't figure it out because we're trying to make it more complicated than what it is. We can't accept the simple answer. You know, God made all this creation. He took the energy of his love, pure love. He took Einstein's equation. And I'm sure God gave it to Einstein. But Einstein wasn't that smart. He's smart. He wasn't that smart. Manipulated that equation so as instead of being able to figure out how much energy you'd get from a piece of matter, an atom, find out how much energy it would take to make that atom. And then there was the Big Bang. Trust me, on our level, if we'd seen that, that would definitely be a big bang.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, we worry over stuff that, no wonder Jesus looked at him and said, "Why are you scared?" They knew they had the master of the universe right there with them. Why are you afraid of this storm? Because he was right there. Think something was going to happen with him there? No, not. There ain't no reason to be afraid. You know, whatever situation you're in, something bad going on. I get you, Joe. I understand. Yeah, Dale's went ahead and took off so he could get prepared for his devotional. Yeah, I know, right? Definitely too far. But, folks, there's a lot of things I've been called in my life, and there's one that I'll joke around about most of them. There's one I won't dare say. I don't have the right to. But it is something that if God puts it in your heart and shows you and makes you suspect. And yeah, probably. But I can't say it. Not of myself. I see myself as the prophets did back in the days of old. They saw themselves as nothing to God. But they knew God. I myself know for a fact I am nothing to God. But he chooses to use me anyway. Just as he does any of the rest of you out there. He has a purpose for you too. What it is, I don't know. You have to figure that out. And some I can see it. Like Dale. Dale is a spiritual foundation builder.
Hey, Johnny, welcome in. Gillum Farms.
And he is very well suited to building that foundation. That's how God uses him. And I can see it in him. Down there at Joe and Ginger's, I can see a lot about them too. And it was all good. I loved it. God shows me things. When I was in the hospital with this neck, it's around Christmas time. We don't decorate around the house. And they's all talking about decorations, talking about, me might not being able to get to see no Christmas lights. And I told them, I said, I'm getting to see Christmas lights, the likes of which you don't know. Because God was showing me the hearts of every one of them there. Folks ain't no Christmas tree can match that. So I had Christmas lights far better than any here. So it's all good. And I think I'm done with that. I know most of what I've said. Sometimes I don't. I used to do writings on Facebook, and I'd have to go back and read them because I had no idea what I wrote because they weren't meant for me. Most of them were meant for a special lady. So I'd stopped for a while. And then we was someplace where this special lady is. She asked me about them, and I told her, I said, well, there ain't nobody liking or commenting on them or anything. And she said, I am.
Good day, Cluff. Welcome in, my darling. What movie did y'all go see, Johnny?
And she said she missed them. So I went back to writing. And so I know those writings were for her. And when she died, God allowed me to see 11 to see her ascend. Good folks. The pure white of the wings and the size, I can't describe because I really can't truly comprehend. But she sure got her wings. And I got to see them spread out. And she just rose. Maybe one day I'll say why she was so special. We called her Mama Evelyn. But anyhow, yeah, bad as I am, yet the things I'm allowed to say. So if you got your trust in God and you put your life in His hands, there is nothing here you have to fear, not the least. Because He's got it. And each thing that happens, He already programmed into the program. Nothing happens, He don't know it's going to happen because He wrote the program. And as long as you know that to the point that you've got it fully in here, There is nothing to fear. Nothing. So, anyhow, we talking about a movie?
Yeah, Johnny Christine went out to see a movie first time in 2 years. Godzilla -1.
Uh-huh.
Heard of it.
I think I heard them talking about it on other lives and whatnot. I think I may have seen a post or two about being talked about. But
I've never seen it. I'll have to check into that.
I don't know why I got off where I did on all that. But
Somebody need to hear what you were saying, Piggy, or
but
God wouldn't let you there.
that's why I'm all the time going off on all sorts of different little tangents. Yeah. But
He goes off on a lot of tangents.
yeah, I usually bring them back together, but I didn't do too well on bringing that one back together. So I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, God knows.
God knows.
So I like seeing everybody I've seen coming in. Well, yeah, Linda, that's what it's always for. It's meant for somebody for some reason. Thanks, Josie. I appreciate that. But
And y'all, I did put the link in there for Dale's devotional, which will be on at 7 Eastern, which is probably about 14 minutes from now. And there's also a link to Avid Fisherman, where Piggy and I will be his guests tonight on panel. And he will be on at 8 p.m. Eastern time, if y'all are interested in being in there.
right. They could be in there, and Piggy and Abbott would be going back and forth, giving each other a hard time. He's got a couple of little videos out pertaining to that.
I tell you what, he got a new. I think he won it like a work Christmas party. It's a
Work Christmas party. He won this smoker, Traeger. Some of y'all may know what I'm talking
It's
about.
a pellet smoker, anyway.
Yeah, it's a pellet smoker, and he put it to the test. He put brisket and some ribs in that thing and smoked them for 32 hours. Folks, can y'all imagine how tender that will be?
All I know is it looked good, and I was drooling while I was watching the video.
I'm saying. But so we'll be up there, see what he has to say, and see how hard a time he gonna give me. Because him and Linda like to give me a hard time about Abbott getting the Piggy and smoking him. I know it, Linda. He gonna rub me good. Gonna rub me out and then rub me good.
I got to invest in me a smoker. That's all there is. If I can't find brisket nowhere else, I'm gonna make my own.
Well, folks, I guess that means I know we'll be taking a trip to Lowe's soon.
Well, not soon. It's probably next year. I ain't gonna cook. I don't do anything during the winter time like that.
Right. Well, Linda, that's why I go along with it. It's fun. That's what it's all about, is having a lot of fun. So, but I guess I'm gonna get off here in a minute. Get me a drink. I hadn't even took a drink.
You've been talking for over an hour.
Well, folks, I don't know what's going on. God does, but there's something to that one. Me not to even take a drink, and I'm sorry I've not paid attention too much to the chat. But folks, I feel like I've walked somewhere. But get off here in a minute, get me some sips of water, and nibble on these cookies I've had sitting over here beside me. There's a molasses cookie I've nibbled on. Here's a couple of peanut butter cookies that I'm going to be nibbling on. That's just a sample of 2 of the cookies that she's made so far. And yes, they are delicious. Cookie! So, Linda, well, thank you. I just appreciate that so much.
Oh my.
Anyhow, folks, I think I'm done. We're going to shift ourselves around, get ready to listen to Dale for a little while. I always enjoy his devotionals. And
All the way down here, Miss Linda.
and then get out of there a little early so that we can prepare to be up on Avid screen later. Folks, Piggy loves you. We'll see you.